Hello all dear friends. In this video we will talk about the Baruch clan, the oldest family served by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. The real masters are always in the shadows. Several years ago it became known about the creation of a single international trust between the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Many analysts were puzzled by this fact. The entire 20th century was marked by a struggle of these two families. The official version is that the two clans are united to survive in the waves of the global economic crisis. But what actually happened? The first oddity of the new alliance is that the superfamilies have pooled sums of only $40 billion. Such sums might seem respectable to Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, but not to the world's leading financial clans. Today, the combined wealth of the Rothschilds, according to rough estimates, exceeds $4 trillion. The Rockefellers' aggregate capital is in the same order of magnitude, but $1 trillion less. It turns out that the merger of capitals is not a bid for survival, but a clear claim for domination in a post-crisis world, the tip of the iceberg in the struggle of some closed elites with others. But if the Rothschild-Rockefeller alliance is going to fight someone, it means they are not the first greats in the world of the global financial establishment. Mayer Rothschild, the founder of the dynasty, was born in Germany in 1744, while the American John Rockefeller Sr. was born almost 100 years later. We'll be making a video about the Rothschild clan soon, by the way, so set up your notifications so you don't miss it. And subscribe to the Reddit Telegram channel, it'll be helpful too. So, if these are relatively young families in historical perspective, then who ruled the planet when the Rothschilds-Rockefellers were walking under the table? Could it be the family whose members founded their Standard Bank back in 1613? Real power is secret power and, as you know, big money likes silence, so the Baruchs always try to keep a low profile. Except when life demanded it, Bernard Baruch broke the rule by becoming an economic advisor to as many as 7 U.S. presidents. Here is his brief history. In 1881, the Baruch family moved to New York City and young Bernard enrolled at City College, graduating from which he worked as a broker on the New York Stock Exchange and, in 1903, established his own brokerage company. Contrary to the fashion of that time for associations into trust companies, Bernard Baruch runs his rather successful brokerage business ostensibly alone, although, of course, the support of the oldest clan ensures his rise. But to the public Bernard gets the nickname, the Lone Wolf of Wall Street, and becomes a millionaire by the age of 33, while managing to build up his capital in conditions of incessant crises in the USA. Beginning in 1912, Baruch plays the political card by financing Woodrow Wilson's election campaign. In gratitude for his support, Wilson introduces him to the Department of National Defense. During World War I, Baruch becomes head of the US Military-Industrial Committee and spins the flywheel of arms buildup, which allows for a time to overcome a series of crises in the economy of the country. It was Baruch, as an advisor to the president, persuaded Wilson to support the idea of creating a Federal Reserve System and, in 1913, the U.S. government delegated the power to manufacture dollar bills to a commercial entity, the Federal Reserve System. After the revolution in Russia, Baruch suddenly becomes an advocate of cooperation with the Soviet Union. Together with Hammer and Harriman, Lenin invites him to the restoration of the national economy of the Soviet country. Some of the first factories built by Americans in Russia in the 1920s and 1930s were tractor factories in Volgograd, Kharkiv, and Chelyabinsk. Of course, these factories had a dual purpose. In addition to tractors, they produced tanks, armored vehicles, and other weapons. Cars needed for the army were produced at the two main plants, the Gorky and Likhachev plants, which were built in the Soviet Union. Likhachev, which was built with subsidies from Henry Ford in the 1930s. American companies also built two huge steel plants, in Magnitogorsk and Kuznetsk. Anticipating the developments in the world, Baruch, with American and British bankers in solidarity with him, conducts a creative maneuver in the late 20s. He achieves a reorientation of the US economy to service the military-industrial complex through its artificial collapse and plunge into crisis.